Relax, put on less airs. Today we need more rocking chairs!
It's morning, and I made it. I'd say I got maybe between 3 and 5 hours of really solid sleep.
I spent the next 2 hours cleaning up the site and eating a breakfast of Mountain House hash browns and eggs. It was actually pretty good, especially compared to the chili from the night before, which had begun to show its uglier side.
At long last, camp is packed up. And when I say at long last, we are into the 9 o'clock hour now. Let's see if we can't get her going here. I'm fucking psyched. And we're off, by God.
The morning sun had just begun to burn the condensation off the leaves as I warmed up the DR650. It was set to be another cold, clear day, perfect for a long ride.
Ooh-wee! It is still cool where the sun hasn't hit. It just dropped 3 degrees going into that shadow.
As I ascended out of the game lands, I passed quite a few small campers and RVs full of people who had probably passed the night in a lot more warmth and comfort than I had. Still, as I pictured them snoozing away in their cots, I had no jealousy in my heart. None of them could have felt as eager or as alive as I did at that moment, accelerating the DR into the cool of the morning, winding past the rivers and frost-tipped limbs of the Tennessee wilderness.
Store Trail Camp. Store and Motel, Green Cove Campground. I mean, this is a little camping town for fucking sure. Look at this shit. It's awesome. I certainly could have made it out here yesterday if I had known how much of this would be asphalt in the end. I mean, these are people who come and camp, man. Oh, look at that fucking school bus. That's awesome.
I was making good time in the morning, but I still hadn't managed to pick up a cell signal. One of my primary concerns was finding a way to update folks back home, and I was starting to think that I wouldn't be able to do that until I made it to Tellico.
So if I'm next to the Tellico River and coming up on the Tellico hatchery, then I am hopeful that I'm going to be in Tellico Plains in a little while here. Monkey butt today. Tellico Plains, 18 miles. Well, then where the fuck are we going?
It may have been only 18 miles by road, but like the rest of Sam's route, the path from Spivey Cove to Tellico took its time, snaking its way over mountaintops before dropping me back down into cool valley floors.
Holly Flats Campground, I had heard of that one. That's on the map. That must be it down there. That would have been kind of nice. Tucked away.
There were actually quite a few campsites along this portion of the trail, and in retrospect I could easily have tacked another 20 miles onto my first day without running out of places to sleep. While tight wooded 2-track typified the Tennessee experience, the landscape opened up as I pushed further west and became more Spartan, almost reminiscent of the dusty, rocky scrub of the American Midwest.
Oh man.
But never one to sit on its laurels, it wasn't long before the trail took another thematic turn and dropped me into a superb river valley. I don't usually go out of my way to find twisties on the DR, but open road riding was a glorious relief from picking my way up the side of mountains. Exiting the valley, I began to see signs of modern life. Ranch homes, their front yards strewn with decorative litter, signs warning me that children could be underfoot, and eventually some low-slung but modern buildings. Tellico had to be close.
Hey, civilization! Still no fucking service.
I absolutely had to contact home before I left Tellico, and with no service on my cell, I was hoping to find a vestigial payphone.
Kerosene. I don't think people have payphones anymore. Man, I have got to find a fucking payphone. Let's go check out the historic downtown. I heard there were bakeries and eateries and shops. I mean, this a little bit sucks because I'm kind of killing time. It's just finished up a sit-down lunch at Telecafe. It took a little longer than I would have liked, but it was pretty good. And most importantly, they had Wi-Fi, so I was able to contact my girlfriend and let her know that everything's good. It's already pretty unlikely that I'll make it to a town where I can have a hotel. So at this point, the very least that I'd like to do is give myself a good amount of time to find another camp spot. Stopped and got some wet wipes, because that fucking bag chili gave me, well, I got some wet wipes.
When I left Tellico Plains on a 2-lane state highway, I thought I'd be on the road for a few minutes, but it wasn't long before highway became tarmac, and before tarmac became a mosaic of gravel and broken asphalt, and in a few minutes' time I was back in the dirt.
I've pulled the bike over briefly because we're at the first of our Tennessee water crossings. This looks totally fine. Do not get me wrong, water crossings are awesome, and I try not to be scared of them, but I am alone. I've heard that some of these crossings are wide and fast, and slippery, and apparently even teams of guys can struggle to get everybody's bikes across sometimes. So that's what I was worried we were coming up on there. Oh, well, here's one. Okay, it does look pretty shallow again. It's sandy. So yeah, this shouldn't be an issue. It's just that entry fee right here that I'm not thrilled about. It's not as slick as it looks, though. I know this doesn't look like much on camera, but in real life, it's quite steep. Ooh, and that is not a shallow water crossing. That got deeper than I expected. So hopefully, not too many more of those. Oh, here's another one. Also looks shallow. I think it'll be fine. We've got tracks going through it. Whew. Again, not too bad once you're in it, but it's no joke either. Here we go again. God damn, there sure are a lot of these. Alright, these don't feel very slippery. They're in this horrible little track, so you kind of gotta find your place and stick to it, but that shouldn't be too bad. That was up over my boots. I mean, not the top of my boots, but with my feet on the pegs, it was over the pegs. Hey, we're going uphill. There's less water uphill, usually.
After the water crossings, the trail briefly became more rocky and difficult, but it wasn't long before I was deposited onto winding valley roads bordered by agriculture and small, quiet cabin homes. I spent the next few miles envisioning what it would be like to live in a place like this, so completely removed from the rest of the world. Maybe when I'm older.
A 2-lane road? What is this, a crossover episode? That is fucking gorgeous. Man, another shitty thing about doing this in winter is all the little fun places look like they're closed. We probably won't be able to get any booze, so there's no real place to, I think all the places that are fun just close up for the winter and also close on Sunday. And that could be the other thing. A lot of these places could just be closed because it's Sunday. What I think is so interesting about some of the homes out here is that they've obviously left their grandfather's original log cabins in the front yard and they just build a new house behind it. So this is going to be one of your, how you say, official campgrounds. 7 miles. Okay, maybe not. Is that a church on someone's property? I mean, it's Tennessee, there might be.
I didn't realize it at the time, of course, but the decision to forego camping at Lost Creek would define the rest of my day and push me way beyond my comfortable limits.
I really don't want to stop yet, but I don't see any more camping. We just passed Lost Creek. I don't see any more marked campsites. There should be plenty. There should be plenty, but I don't know that. I guess I'm going to try and go a little further because this campground doesn't look like a place I can really get down, you know what I mean? Little smoking, little drinking. I don't want a family campground. I want a little more isolated than that. I'm not thrilled to be moving on from a campsite at 3:15. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just going to be what it is. Which is the wrong answer! While there might not be other large campgrounds along the way, my hope is that there will be other campsites. I've already made it the vast majority of the way to Ducktown. So, at least I know that if I can't find a primitive campsite, I can probably make it to Ducktown tonight. I cannot say those words because they're not words that go together. Ducktown. So yeah, we're still going up, which was not what I would be hoping for at this point in a perfect world. I'd be hoping for a descent, because I think most campsites and everything are going to be along rivers, which are not historically found at the top of mountains. Another challenging thing about these trails is that quite a few of them are really leaf-strewn, and that might not seem too problematic, but not only are leaves a little bit slippery, but they also disguise all these rocks that are jutting out of this trail. We've had about twice the amount of hours, but whoa! See? Coming out of those leaves, out of fucking nowhere. Fucking big-ass rock. Knock your front wheel asunder. Send you off a fucking mountain.
At this point, I was starting to feel pretty worried. I could have tried distributed camping, but the top of the mountain would have been cold and windy, even more so than the camping the night before.
Okay, I still am very much in a race against time, but check out that fucking view. Alright, here we are, thank Christ, at a larger, more traveled road. Let's see if we can get off this mountain. Hey, a paved road. We might make it somewhere to sleep after all.
The small, interconnected trails that make up this part of the TAT would sometimes surprise me by dumping me right out of the wilderness and into someone's backyard. I definitely felt like an outsider.
So the only thing I don't like about this scenario is that I thought we'd still be in the state park where I could camp. So I'm happy as shit to be off the mountain. But it doesn't really help me in terms of where I'm gonna spend the night. Oh, it's always weird as motorcyclists when you wave at somebody and they just fucking look at you. If I don't find a campsite, a primitive... What the fuck was that thing? Holy shit. You see that dog? That dog was fucking after me. Fucking hid too. Damn. Supposed to go up Stansborough Mountain? Man, Sam, I don't want to go up another fucking mountain. Fuck. I was like, well, it's a 2-lane paved road, so I'm not too worried about getting back into the wilderness. But no. Back into the wilderness. I should have stopped hours ago and had another nice night. So of course, as soon as I turn off the camera, this fucking car comes by, ask him if there's any camping, he says no. His girlfriend goes, but wait, there's that shit in Isabella, and Isabella's right next to Ducktown. They didn't say, do not go up this fucking mountain, you won't make it down tonight. Which I hope they would have said. Thank Christ for those two people, man. Sometimes you get lucky, you know? I think that's kind of the thing about adventure biking, right? Is you sometimes have to put yourself in the hands of fate or, God forbid, another human being. And more often than not, you're probably pleasantly surprised. Because fact is, you usually just don't ask for help. But most people will help. There can't be all these people with no city. McKaysville. How quaint. Is there a McKaysville hotel? A McKaysville lodge. Why, I'd even take a McKaysville motel. Whitewater rafting. This is good. When people go whitewater rafting, they have to have somewhere to stay. Man, this town is all whitewater rafting. If I wanted to sleep in a kayak, I could get it done.
McKaysville and the town of Copper Hill looked very promising for food, drink, and lodging, but my phone still had no service, so I was unable to look anything up. I should have asked a local, but as it turns out, I've browsed Google Maps since then, and there really is nowhere to stay in town.
I've made the decision to continue on to Ducktown. I'm tempted to stop here and look for a hotel, but I can always come back. It's one of the first towns I've been in 2 days that has a fucking post office, so you'd think they'd have a hotel. It's all signs pointing to Ducktown leaving the fucking other town, but it's getting really frustrating.
I finally bit the bullet and asked for advice from the staff of a local barbecue.
There's a campground down this road, and they also told me that Ducktown is the way that I originally thought it was. And if I don't like the look of the campground, I can come back and go to Ducktown, which does apparently have motels. The guy said, so you're going to want to bear to the right. The main road's going to fork. You're going to want to bear to the right, but stay on the main road. Don't go off on no side road now. Bear right. right, but stay on the main road. It'll fork. Junk for sale. Oh, I bet it is. Both for sale and junk. Stay to the right, but on the main road. Man, I don't fucking... If I don't see this campsite in the next several minutes, I'm just gonna turn the fuck around. Oh well. At least you can witness my hopefully triumphant entrance to Ducktown. Wait, what? Turtletown. But is this Ducktown? Welcome, Ducktown, a quacking good place. Alright. What would it cost these people to invest in some fucking signage, man? Well, I can go to Hardee's. Ducktown Inn doesn't look half bad. I hope they have fucking rooms. Who do I talk to? Motel office located in store. What? Let's hope it's this one. Perhaps a game of volleyball? I gave up. It's just fucking cold. It's just fucking cold. That's really my only problem. I've been riding a long time. It's gonna be nice to just fucking sleep in a room. I asked her if they sell beer on Sunday. They do, so I can get wasted and watch TV. That's fun. There's some volleyball court out there if you want to put in some sand and a new net and find some people and throw down on a game. And I said, aside from Hardee's, are there any like sit-down restaurants around here? She said, oh yeah, Hardee's. There has to be something better to eat than Hardee's in Ducktown. She probably owns the Hardee's too. I concur that there is not a lot in Ducktown. I just refuse to believe that Hardee's is it. I am about to be brutally disappointed. There's the Something Kettle, but that is obviously closed. Is that a Waffle House? And she said... No, it's a fucking Dollar General. God damn it. So this is the Copper Station Pizza... Okay. They have closed.
I did some investigation into Ducktown's history on Wikipedia later that night. It turns out that it was a copper mining town and the industry moved out in the late 80s, which explains the shuttered businesses and restaurants.
I was hoping for something literally down the street so that I could... Ooh, look at that Humvee. So that I could, justify having a beer or two. But look, I'm already back where I started. Coming back to my hotel a slightly different way. I think she was right. I don't think there is anything here. I thought maybe she didn't understand the nature of my inquiry. Well, I take it back, kids. I better be happy with sitting inside, watching Matlock and eating Hardee's, because that is the option. At least I can get rid of my monkey butt and have a hot cooked meal, even if it came out of a fryer manned by a 17-year-old. I pushed it too far. I could have been camping right now. I could have been sitting there for 3.5 hours already. Oh, admittedly, I had a really hard day of riding, and now I'm going to eat a hot, freshly prepared meal and sleep in a bed and watch whatever the fuck the news is. I don't expect that I'll have a lot more to report tonight unless I get nice and wasted. So see ya.